Hey, what's up, everybody? This is John Ensman, and thank you for listening to this podcast. I definitely have a rap preview at the end of this. It is my NXT Rap. And if you just want to skip to the end, that is totally cool. However, I just really hope you guys give this show a listen. This episode's only an hour and a half long. We talk about Resurgence. If you're a New Japan fan, you're going to love this stuff because my co-host, Justin, was there at the show. So he's going to tell you about the fireworks, what it was like live, the merch line, who was the most impressive person he saw there live, and all sorts of other stuff that you're not going to hear on any other show. So he was at the Torch. We have a really good talk about what it was like to be there for this historic show. So listen to the episode if you can. If not, just skip ahead, listen to the rap, and leave me something on Twitter. Tell me what you think about it. All right, let's get to the episode. Okay, so yeah, this is our show. This is wrestling, and we had a lot of stuff go on this weekend. It was a crazy weekend for wrestling, so we have some exciting news here because Resurgence was this weekend. It was in LA, and Justin got to go to the show.
Yes, I was fortunate enough to check it out. It was a great show. We'll go into. There was a few things I'm like, wasn't a big. Well, not really. Actually, just one thing.
The fireworks?
The fireworks in the middle of the show. How was that acknowledged on the show? Because I don't know if you were watching the live English language.
Very awkward.
It was, and then there was apparently, I don't know if it was when we got there. There was a marching band rehearsing, so maybe USC's marching band was rehearsing at the beginning, and like no big deal.
Oh, but there was a marching band, huh? Holy shit!
Yeah, this was way before the doors opened, so it could have just been USC because their football season starts soon and whatnot. College football's coming, so maybe the band was just practicing. I don't know. On a Sunday, it sounds a little weird, but anywho,
something was going down.
Yeah, and even during the matches, I could have sworn I was hearing music coming from the football field or in that area the whole time, and I was telling the people I was with, like, do you hear music? And they're like, not really. And then they started to hear it, and then of course the fireworks show, just a really actually nice fireworks show.
It sounded pretty epic. It sounded pretty cool.
We were, so I'll tell you, I'll just get it out of the way. The one downside of the show, well, there's two, but
there might be more from the TV side of things.
There was some complications. Internet. Yeah, I'll get into that. You were on that side, so you can tell me all about that. But the same problem that I ran into, and I don't know, I'm not trying to criticize the people there because it was the event, the lighting was fantastic. The effects right in front of the Coliseum pillars, it looked it was a beautifully dressed
with the logo up top, like nicely lit with the lighting.
It was gorgeous. It was a beautiful backdrop. That area, like where the camera was, behind it was a grass area, so like a lot of us were just, I'll get into that, but we would just kind of stood up and watched on the grass, or there was these little picnic benches with a couple food trucks and you could just sit at them and watch the matches.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we got there, and we got to where our seats were, but the same problem that was in the Long Beach show 5 years ago is if you're any more than 10 or 15 rows back, maybe even less, it's just you're close, you're not far as distance, but you can't even see the ring. So you see the wrestlers from maybe they're right below their knee and up.
Oh, yeah.
So there's not enough height. And the
it's
Long
just
Beach
flat,
show
right?
was way worse because the original Long Beach show in 2016, it's like if you're not, any more than 10 rows back, you got to have a little height.
It did look flat from like the images you showed me. It looked like grass and just like straight flat. Was it all flat? There was no height
Yes.
for the seating at all?
No snow height for the seating at all.
Uh,
I don't know what the cost of running some bleachers into something like that, or if that's like a from a standpoint of like in the chairs were those kind of plastic rentable chairs or whatever. From a standpoint of cost, and also you have to think about fire marshal and accessibility. So maybe
yeah.
that's not something they can
This,
install.
this show
but-
too. I don't remember any wrestling show being done in this specific location in the past. So
I
this
didn't
is-
even know they used this as a location for things.
I
until
didn't
this.
either. It's like the front lawn of the big building, and
Yeah.
so I'm thinking I think New Japan was treating it like KBS Hall in Yokohama. Do you know that one? It's like a big stained glass background, and this is how Dragon Gate runs this venue. And they
I was gonna say that I think in Japan they just run a lot of venues like this that are just kind of convention hall / kind of a warehouse space that aren't equipped to have like bleachers and
I
stuff.
thought this one, yeah, it was a weird spot and stuff, but like there are spaces that look really pretty, and they'll just put the camera on the pretty part, but the seating's not so great, and it's like awkward in that way. So I could see that it was definitely flat, but on camera, just looking at the backdrop of the building was fucking awesome, and there's been tons of photos taken now of all the wrestlers posing, with the building in the background, and it just looks, it has some great optics to it. So were you in the t-shirt line for the dark match?
Yes, and that merch line, we got in.
Did they make good money that night?
Oh my god, the merch line never ended the whole night, and we
God.
got there, and we got there, and I'm really bad at estimating people and all that, but we were probably like maybe 50 people in front of us, and we got there, and we were still like
each one spending like 20 to 50 to more.
It was like this. It was one of those zigzag lines, and we were probably where we stood when we started the line. We were, 10 feet away from the stand. So, but then the line just wrapped around pretty much the whole venue.
Oh, wow.
Later on. So I'm glad we hit the merch right away. We were done, getting merch because doors opened at 7. We had our merch in hand and food about 10 minutes before 8 o'clock when the show started.
Nice.
The real
you got
show.
all
So
your stuff.
we got it all out of the way. We ate, and I love getting it out of the way. And then I saw how long the merch line wrapped afterwards, and I was like, look at my buddies aren't like. I was the only one that bought anything. They kind of looked but didn't. I had to get the Resurgence shirt. I just got the basic shirt. They didn't have a lot of, they had some decent stuff, but that was the only thing that really grabbed me. And I'm like, I got to get the.
They didn't have the rare Naito stuff or.
Well, they had like they had some, they had the basic Los Ingobernables, basically the updated version of what
and then
I'm
LA
wearing.
Dojo shirts.
They had the LA Dojo shirt, but it was like the Resurgence shirt, which is a nice shirt. I think I can just show it to you because I have.
Let's see it.
Right, have it right here.
We'll put this one up.
Something else. This is the front.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We saw them weering that.
And
I saw
it's
that
the one they were wearing.
logo and stuff around.
And it,
Awesome.
This is my alibi. $25, which I thought is pretty decent for merch. But then that shirt that just said LA Dojo that looked like the generic, it was $40.
Well,
So
I
there
think
was a
that's
huge-
kind of like their brand, like the Bullet Club brand. It's like
But
LA
even
Dojo
this-
brand.
Look, this has got like a nice tag inside.
No,
and-
they're weird.
Nice
New
soft
Japan,
material.
like when they have their show shirts, like sometimes they're not as much, but that is really badass. And
But they
I
had
like
a
it.
nice, the Jay White shirt, and those were like 35, about 30, 35, like the wrestler shirts. And then Minoru Suzuki's stuff, I don't ever went into that with you. His shirt was like $55 or $60.
damn.
No, I guess quick side. So when I went to the G1 at the Ota Gymnasium, the way that this is just this venue, but you walk into, we went down the stairs when they let us in.
Yeah.
And then you go into this hall.
Ota
It's like
Gymnasium.
Yeah, you go into this hall, and it's like all the merch. The merch goes down for like 50, 60 feet, all the merch. you just like walk up to people. There's not that big of a line.
Sounds like
Maybe
they
a
turn
little
it
bit.
into a whole marketplace.
Yes, and they have just you can see all the stuff. They have a menu basically that they hand you, and they did that at this event as well. So after you're doing that, and then you walk outside, and there's a little table, like a card, like a standard one of those like tables.
Yeah.
Just and it's Minoru Suzuki stuff, just
Shit.
outside the hall,
Damn.
and it was obscenely expensive. So I think he kind of has his own thing with merchandise.
Yeah, I mean
know.
they get their prices, right? Like they get their fucking money from the merch. So they're probably just like, "Hey man, fuck it. Like I'm worth this much." Whatever. It's part of his persona, I'm guessing.
Yeah. No. I think he has his own, like, he's got his own, like, clothing brands, like,
He thinks he's luxurious. Well, dude, he does like picture his own little socks on fucking every day on Instagram.
Socks,
yeah. New stance. So he's a fashion guy. Maybe he thinks his stuff is fashion, like it's somehow better or rarer than the other guys, which it's not. It's just t-shirts. But I mean,
he's got his own little kind of boutique in Harajuku or whatever with his company.
Okay.
So,
he's a fashion guy.
Yeah, so he's got his little side business that he does, and
I'm so out of the loop. Is he signed with New Japan? Like that was the thing. Like wasn't there like that argument about that? Is he leaving? Is he signed? I've always thought he's more like independent.
I always thought he had that kind of Kota Ibushi deal where he was a freelancer.
Well, Kota Ibushi is not anymore, right? But
I know he wasn't. But
back in the day,
he was kind of
yeah.
He didn't being like not having a home.
Well, I guess I should have looked that up.
I don't think Suzuki does anything. I haven't seen him wrestle on anything else, but maybe they just like pay him per diem.
Well, lately,
yeah, because he's not there. He's kind of he goes in and out. He doesn't. He's not there consistently. At least the last couple years.
Yeah. Things have changed. He's been actually like since the pandemic. He has been working strictly New Japan, I believe. But before that, he was moving around a little bit, and sometimes was going to New Japan. And last night, obviously, was the huge show, and the big opening match was Coughlin versus Fredericks. And first of all, before we even get into the match, I just want to say, man, there were technical issues on both ends, which sucked. So on Fight TV, the English commentary was there, but it ran at about 10 frames per second. So, and that happened, I feel like the entire show, it started running about 20 frames per second later in the show. It's terrible.
Huh.
Watchable, though. And then on the Japanese side, a good commentary in Japanese, but you couldn't hear the crowd at all.
Interesting.
So
I started watching a little bit of the Japanese feed today, but so just to take you back, our seats, we didn't even we sat down in the seats for 2 seconds. I'm like, you know what? Let's just walk over there and just stand and watch this. Nice. We're going to get better vantage points. So we literally stood right next to the main camera.
And this was an expensive show, wasn't it?
Our tickets were $40.
I thought the front row were like super expensive and near the front.
You know what? I think I think the seats when I saw range from about, I could be completely wrong, but from 150 to 40 to 150.
Okay. 150 is not bad for front row tickets, especially considering what happened. What happened?
But if I could get into the venue for $40, that I don't really think you could say expensive show.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree.
You have to pay $90 to get into a PWG show. So that to me is that's a lot of money. Although, anyway, you get your money out of a PWG show. It's worth $90, just a matter if you have $90.
No, I feel you, man. It sounded look, this was a big show no matter how you look at it. Yeah. So it was probably even worth a little more than they put it. By the way, did you see the new PWG show going on?
I saw some of the things pop up on my phone because I get the alerts. So
I want to see Alex Shelley versus Jonathan Gresham.
Yeah, it looks like there's some good stuff there. I don't know if I'll be ready to go to a venue like that or
I feel
that kind of money. This outdoor show is just perfect, and the mask.
And it was New Japan, man.
75 to 80% of the people were complying with the mask thing and wearing the mask, but
Mm.
I was outside. We were pretty much distanced. If you wanted to, you could be away from people.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we kind of posted up about most of the show right next to the control area and where the main camera was, and we had a pretty good vantage point. We saw and heard enough. Then there was a technical thing that happened at the show right after the Moxley Good Brothers Nagata match.
Yeah.
And
fireworks.
The sound went out with when Tama Tonga got the microphone.
So, okay,
or no, when Carl Anderson still had it, and we were standing right next to the control board with all the sound and the monitor. It went out, and they were trying to figure out why the power went out.
So it really was a technical difficulty, because I thought it was an angle considering what happened. Didn't his mic go off and someone else came out?
No, that's when the God came out.
Okay, yeah.
And they were probably supposed to say something, but the mics were still out. And we were literally standing right next to the where they had the monitor and the soundboard guy. The power went out on both of those.
Oh, that's terrible.
And they were trying to figure out how to fix it, and they did get it fixed eventually. But
Jesus, dude.
So that's why they lost the sound. I don't know why, but that was the effective.
It is New Japan America, kind of. It's like a different wrestling company in a way. It's ran by the same people, but it's got different crew. You don't have the same cameraman, and you definitely don't have the same electronics guy or whatever, the control guy.
They have some Japanese people there that are in the controls because they're.
Do they?
Yeah, they do. But it's pretty much this. I would imagine the same crew that does Strong.
Yeah.
So they're
maybe some of the same guys that do Championship Wrestling from Los Angeles.
Yes, it is too. It is too, because they're all blended together.
And also probably did fucking Aztec Wrestling. No, what's it called? Lucha Underground.
I don't know anything if that's the same, but I know for sure that the Championship Wrestling, and they do usually really good production stuff and value. So there's some really professional work done there, but sometimes things happen, and what are you gonna do? It's just
look, it's the first show I've seen at quote unquote the Torch at LA Coliseum, which they should just call it the LA Coliseum front lawn.
Right. That's what. But it was really cool, and
the Torch.
So the only criticisms I guess I would have is, it'd be nice to have some bleachers, but that's kind of countered by you don't know what the fire code is and the logistics of making that happen in kind of a smaller
or putting
space.
2,000 people into bleachers and like in this area.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? And then no one can barely get out of the fucking bleachers to go take a piss, and
that's exactly.
They have to put staircases here and
would not approve it. I'm just thinking. I just imagine the bleachers that you see at the Rose Parade that they install, and if people get rowdy, that thing's coming down, and and the merch. I guess they could have done something to make that merch line not as long. I would say maybe there was 6 or 7, 8 cashiers. I mean, I could be completely wrong on that, but maybe they needed to have
a little bit more.
I just think with the Americans, you really got to make sure you got your merch. Maybe having more than one merch stand.
Well, but this also show was bigger than any New Japan show in America in a long time. It possibly is one of the biggest shows in America besides Madison Square Garden. But I mean,
this was a crowd of 2,200.
It was 2,200. But here's the thing: what happened on the show and the hype for the show was really huge. And it was the first live New Japan show in America in a very long time. So they should have probably done a little better on the merch. And I guess maybe they didn't know they were that popular, but they were.
Yeah. Maybe you could start selling merch outside when people are waiting in line. There's ways to, do that. But, like we said, we don't know the logistics of it. But just from when I see merch lines going on throughout the entire show that are extremely long, there, maybe you could do something to prevent that. But I'm glad I got in there early, got my shirt. I guess, like I said, 5 years ago, that was one of the mistakes they made was the merch too, because on the second day, as soon as we got there, we waited in line. and we were in line for a good 45 minutes, if I remember correctly.
Damn.
And by the time we got there, we had the
Damn.
choice of 2 shirts. Two.
Oh shit. It's like you have to
And
get. What do you have to get to the venue like 3 hours early just to get a good fucking shirt? It's like, dude,
Yeah.
you know, maybe back in the day, if you wanted to get Kairi Sane and Asuka shirt, right? It would the Kabuki Warriors, right? And you get in line for fucking 3 hours, which I don't even think the lines at Raw are that bad compared to this, right? And you don't get your fucking Kabuki Warriors shirt. That's
Well,
terrible, man.
here's the thing, though. Like, you go to those American WWE shows, and they have, 8 to, probably 10 or 15 merch stands spread out through the arena.
Oh, that's true.
And
You just keep walking and you find one. And you can, like, get everything at each place usually.
Usually, yeah. And sometimes,
At least the
And,
most
you'll wait in
popular,
line
the
for
most
some,
popular
but-
shit.
Yeah, they spread it out. So, like, of course you're going to have to wait in line a little bit, but it's nowhere near as bad as what they do with these shows.
And that is how I got my Sting mask, by the way. And I wish I still had it, because I would wear it whenever I see him in the rafters.
Right.
So, Carl Fredericks, Alex Coughlin, man, I thought it was a really awesome opener. I love Carl Fredericks. I'd love to see him in more stuff, but it was the young lion still versus the fucking Carl Fredericks, who already won big tournament for New Japan, and everyone in Los Angeles probably wanted to see him. I did, at least. He's a local guy. So,
Yes.
What did you think about Fredericks and Coughlin?
I love that match. Coughlin, I think, he's got this brute strength about him, and the deadlifts he does.
Yeah, he controlled a lot of the match. I felt like he was kind of kicking Frederick's ass quite a bit. For a little bit
and
there.
I think if there's one guy on the New Japan roster, you can make the argument who's kind of, I don't know if I want to say growth was stunted by the pandemic, but I think Carl Fredericks is a guy that they really had to put on the back burner, who was getting really hot before all the stuff started shutting down. And it's like they're just slowly cooking him back up again, because he was going to be a big star. And he won that Young Lions Cup, and it looked like, he was ready. And then they kind of graduated him early from his excursion, and he got his own gear. And he's just kind of been put on the back burner since then.
Kind of been normalcy since then. Been winning matches here and there, but I mean nothing. He's lost some too. So it's been kind of interesting watching him go. But maybe they're like, maybe he's just on the back burner and they're waiting for that right time.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's got stuff going on in his life, and I follow him on Twitter, and he does seem like a guy who like might have some stuff going on sometimes.
Yeah, I know. I think he must maybe have. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has like a kid and stuff like that. But he was one of those guys I thought that they were gonna get him back to Japan as soon as possible.
I'm surprised he's not back already. And he said he wanted to be there.
Yeah, it seems like he wants to be there, but he seemed like a guy they were gonna get back to Japan as soon as possible. But who knows? There's still time, and it's not too late for him, of course.
Well, and from tonight, we're learning that it's not all about Japan necessarily. So,
right.
So
that was very interesting, man.
It's it kind of, this show changed the whole dynamic of the company, which we'll get into as the changes happened over the night, all the story.
Yes.
So the next match was Rosser, Rocky Romero, and Wheeler Yuta versus TJP, Clark Connors, and Ren Narita, and TJP, Clark Connors, and Ren won the match. And I remember this was a really fucking exciting match. Like, I liked seeing Yuta and TJP, their chemistry. Everyone, now, you guys were marking out for Rocky Romero, right? That's what I saw.
You saw me rocking?
No, I just saw everyone. Rocky Romero was getting big chants from the LA crowd.
Yeah, of course. Rocky's an LA guy. So, yeah, he was getting some chants.
But this was about Rosser versus Narita. I mean, and they had an awesome chemistry throughout the match.
Yeah, it was a pretty good match. Of course, you have to, at the live venue, if you're not too close, you're maybe not paying as much full attention as you can.
Yeah.
And I'm still, even though we found a better spot to be, I was still at that angle where I couldn't see the full ring because there were pillars in the way and all that stuff.
Okay.
So I had to deal with somewhat of an obstructed view. That's why I'm excited to watch it, the feed, live, because when you go to these matches, you're gonna sacrifice some of the. I know it sounds weird, but you're gonna sacrifice some of the watching of the matches, and you trade that in for the ambiance and the atmosphere.
Well, I could only imagine if you went to the Tokyo Dome and went to the like very top of the arena, you couldn't see any of the matches except for like on the TV.
If you're, yeah, or if you're on the floor and you're any more than 5 rows,
Yeah.
you can't. You're cut off. To
Oh,
about
dude, imagine being in the
75%.
back row of the Tokyo Dome.
And where they had the entrance to this show, where we were seated, we did not see the entrance whatsoever. They just kind of would come, they could have done the entrance straight back. Maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know what the logistics are of that building, or somewhere a little centralized, but they did it off to the side. So if you were on the left side of the ring from the TV side, you did not see any wrestler enter until maybe they came down the ramp and you saw the top of their head as they walked towards the ring.
Damn. Well,
yeah.
So this was this match you really didn't catch much of. Is that what you're kind of trying to say?
Yeah. Oh, or any of the multi-mans.
Okay.
Well,
that's fine.
It
more like the
singles
singles matches.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the single matches is where you're able to kind of, in that kind of environment. No, it was a good match. I do remember some spots in it. I don't remember it blow by blow, but it was a good match. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I saw, those are a lot of good wrestlers in the ring. Narita is solid, and TJP is fun to watch him perform in the ring. So no, it was a good match for sure. And Fred Rosser has just.
But I know what you mean,
AKA
though. It's just it's a like a beast of being at any kind of venue. There's situations. There's things that happen in the area. I mean, it's unless you have like front row seats, it's not always easy just to like. Get it all in when you want to.
Yeah, and I was trying to hand out some of my stickers and chat with some people, and
yeah, nice.
That's
awesome.
I think out of all the stickers I handed out, I got 3 new followers so far.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. Well, there you go, man.
That's about. I think I brought about 75 of the stickers.
I think for like every badass thing you do, you get like 1 follower. So that's how I think that's life in general. Because even for me, I'll release the most badass rap ever. It'll get like 100 likes, and I'll get like 1 follower for it. I'm like, damn, thanks.
Well, it's funny because sometimes the most random thing will get you a bunch of likes, and you're like, well, okay.
It's like, fuck, I didn't even work on that.
And then sometimes you're like, oh man, this is gonna get me some little bit of steam or whatever, and then nothing happens. It's just the way it is. So.
I guess that is how it is with art and comedy and fucking anything that you're creating on the go.
Yeah, any purposeful thing that you think is going to be a huge hit.
Maybe even with wrestling. I mean, people fuck up. I've seen some real bad shit. But, I thought, I'm going to tell you this, man. As far as good wrestling goes, I thought that Leo Rush, Chris Dickinson, Fred Yehi, Yuya Uemura versus way too many names. Oh, it's Adrian Quest also, Tom Lawler, J.R. Kratos, Nelson Isaacs, Danny Limelight. I thought it was really good for a few reasons, but I think that it was like really like a PWG match or a kind of more like a Dragon Gate match. Did you see it as that?
Since I'm not really familiar with Dragon Gate matches, PWG in terms of what do you mean, like in terms of like
super fast paced, man? Yeah, fast, super fast paced, but also really good. Like, shit, like this is awesome.
I really love the Chris Dickinson stuff with Tom Lawler,
dude. I've never seen a guy wear bright purple shorts like that. It brings me back to All Japan because it's like these bright colored shorts, and this dude's wearing like the bright purple. I like Chris Dickinson, was very impressive, and I'll talk about some of the guys who I was really impressed with in person. Dickinson was one of them. You take on it. He was one of the most impressive guys I saw in person. Nice. And then there's always that thing is when you see him in person, there's always like that wrestler that in person they impress you more. For me, it was Darby Allin, and it was in a way Chris Jericho and Pac, but. So Chris Dickinson for you was someone you saw live, and you're just like,
that stood
damn.
out. And Leo Rush, who I think I've seen at PWG before. There was a lot of like "Don't retire" chants, and I think he has. Is he still retiring?
I
know he
don't
had
know
some.
what's going on with that all
Yeah,
that, dude.
because I would still love to see him in a best of the Super Juniors. I think that would be really fun to have him in that tournament.
I
Before
would
he
love
hangs
to
it all
see
up.
him in like so many different things, man.
Yeah.
Best of the Super Juniors. I'd love to see him go for the TNT title.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's so talented, and his speed is so much fun to watch. And just like he's really the only one who does this kind of gimmick where he's so fast and he's like Yoshino from Dragon Gate. I don't know if you watched him, but it's just he's so fast, no one can get him. Da da da. He runs across the ring, turns around, goes under you, goes over you. Almost like a Rey Mysterio type of vibe.
Right.
And I feel like he won't be that fast always, but that kind of gimmick, he can go a long time with that. He's a small dude.
Yeah, and as long as he can keep cardio up, he doesn't have to worry about having to lift a ton of weight and stuff like that. So as long as you can keep your cardio halfway decent, because his cardio is way super above average. You can probably do it later and take little steps off as here you go, but still be way above average cardio in your mid 30s,
Oh yeah, man. I mean, you can save those spots where he runs across and goes around and go. You can save those for the big shows later on. So it was an awesome match, but the best part of the match, and the part of the match where I'm said I'm not crying, you're crying, was at the end because Yuya Uemura got the pin. Now for me at home, this hit hard because this was a young lion getting a huge win, which you never fucking see in New Japan. So you guys had another historical moment here as Yuya Uemura, the young lion, gets a win over all the pro wrestlers.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is he still technically a young lion if he's out on excursion?
Look, he is not a Japanese young lion wrestling in Japan, but he is a young lion because he had in kayfabe he has not been accepted into the dojo yet, into LA, because we saw he was pulled in after that.
Yeah, that was
so.
Seeing Shibata was awesome.
Now let's go a little back here. So
Shibata's music
when Yuya came out and bowed to everyone and said, I am Yuya Uemura, I want to get stronger. That was so fucking great, dude.
That was so cool. That was awesome.
So what I see here is that New Japan is turning a graduation into an angle, and I love that. I want them to do this all the time. Any time that a young lion graduates, I'd love to see an angle. What do you think about that? Is doing little graduation ceremony match type things for them?
It's funny that you mentioned that because I don't know if it was last week's, but the Super J-Cast mentioned how they had the send-off matches for Yota Tsuji, who went over to Rev Pro, and for Uemura, I guess they were against Naito and Okada, respectively, which were great matches, and how and the way they built up to them and all that, and the endings were fantastic. But they never really made a big deal out of that before. So if you wanted to go find Okada, Naito, Tanahashi's final match before being sent off to excursion, like, number one, it might not even exist on video, let alone be on NJPW World, and it wouldn't be labeled as such because it wasn't that big of a deal. It was just they go off. So I love the fact that they have a proper send-off from New Japan in that system, and then you kind of get to follow up on what they're doing on their excursions. And
especially now,
I like
America.
it a lot. Yeah.
Now
that just gives it an international vibe to it.
Yeah, it's the American.
That this is a worldwide product. Yeah.
We'll see about Yota Tsuji. He'll probably be in Rev Pro. I hope they ramp up very soon and just keep going and do some good stuff. So, but now
have they not started back up consistently yet?
I don't know. I don't know exactly. I know they've done shows. But I specifically would just want to see Yota Tsuji on one of their shows.
Oh, he's awesome. Yeah,
when he's on the show, I want to know if he gets a gimmick or whatnot. I'm sure he'll be good. But Yuya Uemura tonight looked huge, and you guys saw Shibata, and Shibata did his little angle, and what an awesome thing to see live. Yeah. Like you said, no music for Shibata, but he was there.
Yes, he was, and that was awesome.
And he said, "Come with me," and everyone's like, "Fuck yes, dude." Yeah. So,
but you know what? I was just thinking that LA Dojo shirt is very similar in the font to the plain old The Wrestler shirt. I think it's actually exactly the same if you look at it. So there's a symbolic thing to that. So
there's a reason for it, for sure,
yep.
dude.
Mm-hmm.
We all knew it. So after this and all that big stuff that went on, which was extremely exciting, by this point I'm like, oh, this show's fucking badass. I loved the tag match, dude. I thought it was great. And JR Kratos, really big motherfucker. Did he look big in real life?
Yeah, he's an impressive dude too.
Okay, I just was like...
Yeah, he was pretty impressive. It doesn't look like that... Well, I guess maybe he looked like someone that New Japan would have, like I've been watching it that long, that New Japan would have around in like the early zeros, or just one of those big hoss guys like they would have in the 90s.
I could see that for sure. But I am surprised he's never been put into a big company until now, which is kind of crazy for... He was probably way more buff like 10 years ago. But... So after that, we had the Hikuleo match versus Juice Robinson. You said, you thought Juice Robinson would win, right?
I wasn't sure, because it seems like they've kind of Juice was okay when I was in Japan, and Juice got one of the biggest responses from the Gaijin roster. Like the Japanese love Juice Robinson.
Yeah.
And so much so where, they gave him a good run with that US title. He wasn't Intercontinental, but he's had some runs with the tag title.
He won the tag tournament with Finland.
Right, with Finn
Juice.
So I mean, he was always one of the, and I love Juice Robinson. I like watching him, and he's another guy that's actually a lot bigger than you think. Even though he went against Hikuleo, who's like 6'8" and big and impressive too when you see him. Juice Robinson's a good 6'3".
Damn, dude.
At least. And
that is pretty impressive.
I like Juice Robinson. I like the guys that are vocal during matches and stuff like that. And I thought this match was pretty good too. I guess I was slightly surprised that he went over Hikuleo, but
I was pretty surprised, man, because I don't know. I guess I don't really know Juice's future in the company, and maybe Juice is going to be in the G1 soon. Who knows?
I heard a rumor that Juice and Jay White weren't going to be in the G1, and I think Jay White even said it in his promo that he's not going to be in the G1.
You think they're going to keep a lot of Americans out of the G1?
Well, I mean, I guess there was the rumor that, like...
Because Ospreay said he's not going to be in it.
Yeah. Oh, was it Ospreay?
Yeah.
That was a whole other thing that just...
Well, and we'll talk about that. Yeah, for sure.
Well, anyway, just to finish up on Juice, it was a roll-up, right? So you're still protecting Hikuleo with kind of the fluke victory kind of thing. So it's not as, clean. Win's a win in my mind, but I guess if you're trying to protect Hikuleo but still have Juice go over and seem legitimate, then, that's what they did. So fun match. I liked it.
Yeah, and I really don't have a ton to say about this match. I mean, as compared to all the matches before it, I didn't think it was as good as all the ones before it, and so I was kind of at this point a little like.
Well, by this time, I think we were just happy to see a singles match that was easier to watch. In terms of just all the moving parts, you can't see about 80% of it going on. So
I think you need to start watching some Dragon Gate, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe after the show you tell me how you actually watch that stuff.
Watch some of the crazy matches.
How you can view it or how you can access it, not how do you watch that crap.
I know, I know what you mean, bro. It's all good. But the cool thing after it is that we had that match and thought it was okay. And after this, it was Ishii versus Moose. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. I heard Dave Meltzer say this earlier, but I was thinking it last night. When Ishii walks, he looks like he's crippled. Like he's slumped.
He really plays the whole neck down thing. I have no neck.
He's looks like he's done, but
he's about 5'7".
the match was fucking crazy. I mean,
Yes.
it was like Ishii versus this fucking extremely tall, like the last time I saw Moose, he was like really muscle bound, but he's like extremely lean now, and I guess he does like all sorts of crazy shit now. So
Moose was the most impressive guy I saw live in this show.
there you hear it.
And I was with my buddy who's kind of I've taken him some shows and that's how he's gotten his. I'm trying to educate him. And I was telling him this guy used to be an offensive lineman for the Falcons. He's like, he was an offensive lineman, and then he executed one of the better drop kicks I've ever seen. Almost,
yeah, dude.
Okada like.
Oh fuck yeah!
Really, and he's like, you're telling me this guy was an offensive lineman? And I've heard of Moose, and I've seen him, and he did look slimmed down I haven't seen a lot of him. But I've never really seen like maybe him in a full-on match, and that dude in person too. That was the most impressive.
Well, and the cool thing was, and I'm gonna tell you, I think why it was one of the most impressive things you saw is because Moose has been wrestling for quite a while now. I watched him in ROH back in like 2015, but maybe 16. But beyond that, it's because he was wrestling Tomohiro Ishii, who I imagine these guys putting a match together, they just say, and Ishii just let's go all out, And I love the spot where he's like, he couldn't beat him, he couldn't tackle him, and Ishii kept going for the tackle over and over, and it just highlighted everything else in the match, man. I
was trying to explain to my friend what Ishii's role in the company is. And he kind of just went to the old phrase of like always the bridesmaid but never the bride kind of thing. He'll give you great matches every time he goes out there. He'll get some wins here and there, but he's never put into that main event spot. Here and there he is, but whenever they need like a great match, if they put someone on the other side of Tommy Ishii, they know they're going to get something good. So he's the most dependable, one of the most dependable guys on the roster. They're never going to strap with a rocket to him and make him a champ. He's always going to be kind of that little side, mid-card to high mid-card guy, get an occasional main event here and there.
But he is one of the most talented, that's for sure.
He's extremely talented. He takes a beating and gives a beating. Guy barely leaves his feet. The guy's like 5'6", 5'7".
I heard he was 5'4".
Yeah. Is he? Maybe. I don't know. Moose is about 6'5".
I heard it was 6'4" versus 5'4", and it was a foot of difference, and it looked like it on TV.
Well, if she had a neck, he'd be 5'8", right? So
yeah. It looked like David and Goliath, though, at first.
It was awesome.
But I'll say,
awesome.
like, when they started, like, trading all the bombs, like, back and forth and fucking just fucking each other up the whole match, you're just like, dude, this is awesome. Like, they were just going at it. And then honestly, seeing Ishii, this little dude, pick up fucking that dude and slam him on his head at the end was just like, how?
Yeah, so it was awesome. That was a really really fun match.
And the crowd loved it?
Yeah, the fans were into that one for sure.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
So after that, the fans got a little worked up again. Fucking New Japan. They wanted you guys worked up because they brought out Will Ospreay at this point.
There was a lot of shock in that crowd. It was like I don't think anyone was seeing it. And he came out in a black suit, and I'm like, oh shit, that's Will Ospreay. What the fuck is he doing here? And he did the whole CM Punk, Shawn Michaels with the second belt thing.
Mm-hmm.
And called Shingo a pussy, which
oh my god,
maybe you shouldn't do. And then he said he wasn't going back to Japan, he was going to hold it up here. Does that mean that we have 2 champions now? Like, what is going on?
I think they got 2 champions now, the interim and Shingo, man.
I mean,
that's what's going on. We got our American dude and the Japanese guy.
That was nuts.
They could push that. They could push that to Wrestle Kingdom. If you think about it.
We'll get into more about this whole U.S. tour and imprint they're putting on there, because I have mixed feelings about it, and we could talk about that maybe when we're done with reviewing this show. But Yeah, so that was very shocking, and it was cool to be there in the presence of that for sure.
That's awesome, man. And I think it's a good angle. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I'm excited to
Very,
see
he
Will
was
Ospreay
very,
here.
he was positively received, mostly because I think the shock
Yeah, well,
that got positive.
he is like a superstar. I mean, he
Yeah,
was the champion, and he
as we'll talk about later,
is considered one of the best
Americans,
wrestlers in the world.
and as we'll talk about later, Americans love the cocky heel. I really think that's something that America. I don't know if that's a
Yeah,
metaphor, but Americans love a good cocky heel.
they
So
like the asshole. That
yeah,
fucking. That's probably why Jay White's so popular there.
that we'll get
So,
into that. So
John Moxley and Yuji Nagata. So we talked about they faced the Good Brothers. We talked a little bit about this with the fireworks. Now on TV, it was extremely awkward. It was kind of like the crowd is dividing its attention between the fireworks and the wrestlers, and I'm thinking like, oh boy, the wrestlers are probably kind of like confused too, so
the
they have to
wrestlers,
play it off.
I was really watching the wrestlers to see if there was any reaction out of them, and they did a good job of kind of just keep going, just keep going. I think that maybe the referee in the earpiece was telling them that's not just, there's no malfunction or anything going on, just keep going like the match. I
Mm.
thought it was awesome as like I get to see a match going on, and I look over the fireworks. It was really cool.
I imagine it'd
Yeah,
be unique to be there. It was just very unique. It
awkward.
was that. It was
Were the
weird.
announcers acknowledging it?
Man, I don't remember. I think I watched it in Japanese. I think they definitely acknowledged it actually. Hanabi fireworks in Japanese, and they definitely said something about that. So
Okay, I wonder if they're saying like, "Oh, that's just some malfunction. We're gonna keep going here or whatever."
I think
But
there was just mentioned like, oh look, it's fireworks. What the fuck?
uh,
And then like they just kept commentating.
so what was the response from Nagata coming out from the televised thing?
Excited. They sounded like they liked him.
Okay, okay.
Why? What were
I
you
I
thinking?
I didn't know if it was a stale response or if it was, where the fuck's Eddie Kingston or I don't want Sammy
Or where's
Callahan anywhere.
Umino?
Ever since I've seen Sammy
Shota?
Callahan spit into people's beer at PWG shows and spit on the
Ew.
fans, I don't want to be anywhere near him.
I will never support him now. You know what I mean, bro?
Yeah. Although one of my friends got hit with Adam Cole's gum at Battle of Los Angeles,
But that's not Adam Cole's fault.
but well, he did spit it out. But I'd rather get hit by gum than someone's just flat out
He didn't
spit, I
choose him
guess.
though. He
But
just spit it randomly.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, Sammy Callahan was not there, which was fine with me. Yuji Nagata was cool to see because that dude is still, fun to watch.
Well, the
Um,
thing that sucks is the match just was like kind of like
it
John
was less
Moxley
than
went
10
out and then
minutes.
Nagata like got pinned, and it was weird. Like, oh shit,
Yeah.
okay, so Moxley just really didn't have much to do with the match at all, which was he had to do with the later
Man,
part of the show. I would say almost more than this match.
I they're obviously using that to set up an AEW angle. So I think that was just a vehicle to um, you know, to get maybe Moxley on the show. They're like, just we want to strengthen this angle. Can you use
Mm-hmm.
him to do that? Because they're putting him in the Good Brothers spot.
Well, it
And
I mean, it was interesting, but definitely wasn't one of the better matches for me
I
on the
was
show.
hoping that would be the match where we'd see them fight into the crowd and maybe they would run by us and stuff like that. Um,
Well,
as we
if
saw
only.
with Osprey, kind of jumped the fence on the other side of us, so we didn't really see where he went.
Mm,
We had that whole LA Dojo kind of
they
thing
came out
happen.
at him.
Yeah, which was like
That's.
TJP. Are we going to see TJP and Will Osprey? Like, I mean, it'd probably be a
I
pretty
don't
good
know. I think
match,
it's kind
but
of cool that LA Dojo has become a stable. Like you say,
right,
chaos and fucking Los Ingobernables, and then you say, oh shit, well LA Dojo. Imagine if
sure,
COVID gets better, which may never happen. I have no clue nowadays.
yeah, I
But
know.
imagine LA Dojo like being in the G1 Climax or something, and then
Could
put in,
happen.
and they all wear their shirts and fucking, you know what I'm saying?
Why not? Or just kind of they come one day and invade a little bit. Who knows?
Oh, that'd be sick, man. So I'll tell you this though. Okay, so after this, we went to the Jay White versus David Finlay, and so I'll just tell you this, man. David Finlay, he seemed to be very not well received, and
No.
also he had just done an interview lately talking about leaving the company. So why do you think he wasn't well received? Was it because of how much people fucking love Jay White, or do you think it had
Yes.
something to do with because you just
It
don't?
was. It was maybe a combination of Jay White. When you see the two of them, Jay White has a charismatic presence to him,
Okay.
and it's also the Americans love that cocky heel that talks a lot of shit,
Mm.
and um,
Conor
the way that
McGregor style.
yeah, and the way Jay White presents himself is, I mean, I think David Finlay's great. I love watching his match. Like the match was great, and that match they had in the New Japan Cup was tremendous. Um, but the American fans, when you compare the two, are gonna just overwhelmingly go for. And I think there's probably kind of that element of maybe some casual fans that really weren't familiar with David Finlay as
Mm.
well. Um,
I was
when you
surprised, man, because Finley had won some big matches in New Japan, and always thought of him as a crowd favorite. But all
in
of us,
Japan he is.
is
In
it?
Japan he is.
It's that
Yeah,
flipped in America, huh?
absolutely. It is. It's almost felt
Jay
like the
White
Bret
is
Hart in
so
Canada
popular
versus
in America. He's,
yeah.
that's interesting, man. Like Jay White,
Switchblade,
he kills it in
Switchblade,
America.
Switchblade merch might have been definitely in the top two or three of the most popular gear you saw out there.
Wow.
There was a lot of Switchblade gear, but it wasn't just the pro Switchblade. It was the anti Finley stuff.
Oh
That was the most
yeah.
surprising. I'm not surprised
That's
that
what I'm
most
saying. He
people
was
are.
being booed, bro. They were
Yeah,
like
he
talking
was
shit
literally
to him.
being. They booed David Finley out of there, and I kind of felt bad for the guy. But at the same time, you have to recognize, you know, Jay White's a damn star, and
Mm.
he's got such an and I'm not saying that David Finley doesn't have any charisma, but it's unfair comparison to compare him to Jay White's
Yeah,
you know
and I've never seen him live, but it sounds
presence.
like he has something to him. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
really exciting. So, I mean, and
Yeah.
he showed it off afterwards. He gave a promo, and he was the second person to mention wrestling anywhere, any place, anytime, AEW, this, that.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about him saying, like, I'll wrestle in AEW, I'll wrestle in
Oh,
Impact?
when you start hearing, especially AEW, the fans went crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
They loved it.
Yeah. That's awesome,
Yeah.
man. So,
Hmm.
all right, so after that, finally, it was the ace Hiroshi Tanahashi. How did the crowd feel about Tanahashi?
Oh, they were in love with him. There was some Murder Hawk Monster chance. I would probably call it 60-40, maybe 75-25. What did from
Yeah,
your end? What was it's I think when you're watching at home, maybe you get a better sense of what the crowd was. But I mean, at the end, it was a love fest with Tanahashi, and I had to get as close as possible. I sent you some of the video at
yeah.
the end. I got pretty close to the ring and stuff, and it was just a beautiful moment, and it was great.
It was from TV. It was from picture. And man, this match was cool. Tanahashi came out like he looked like a god to the crowd. Archer was respected for sure. Like people liked him too, and he proved to be more likable as he went on. But obviously, Tanahashi was the huge baby face, and
Yeah.
I thought they had an awesome match, dude. Like I'm, how can you be any more impressed with what Tanahashi does? He always delivers in every
Well,
circumstance.
he's one of the greatest ever to do it,
Yeah.
um, especially in Japan. And I know I said Moose was the most impressive, but just like overall, like just presence and feel. I mean, Tanahashi, the dude's a god, and
Mm-hmm.
in the cheesy sense and in the badass sense, like he checks a lot of boxes. Like, a lot of people say he's the John Cena of Japan, and yes, there is that element of like the goody two shoes kind of thing about him too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the dude's just a badass. He'll, the dragon screw leg whip and the working the body parts. There's a lot of he just reminds me of like he's got some Bret Hart in him in terms of
And
his
how he
in-ring
fires
technical
up,
ability.
dude, and how he like,
Yeah.
and then he comes with the fucking hit, the like slap, and then obviously kicking out when you're like, no, this dude's finally done, and then getting up and hitting multiple high
It,
fly flows from the top rope as this dude is in his like how old? What the fuck? Like,
you know what? Like I would say he's 50% Bret Hart. He's 25% Owen Hart, and then he's got a little bit of like kind of that Rob Van Dam style too in terms of the frog splash. I guess he had a little twinkle with the frog splash, but he's
yeah.
almost like a blend of Bret and Owen Hart.
Well, he definitely has the technique, man, and he definitely has that. Yeah, the way he does moves and the complete way that he just hits it hard, and he
And
can sell.
I've always been a big fan. I don't know why. Maybe it's because when I like one of the matches like the Bret Hart Diesel stuff where you get the guy who's you know not as tall and he chops the tree down, goes after the leg and
Mm.
works him. You know what I mean? I thought we were going to see this maybe end with a Texas Cloverleaf,
Mm-hmm.
but three high fly flows. How freaking awesome was that? And I don't know
I
if they
could
showed
only.
it, but Lance Archer, totally gave him a nice babyface speech.
So we
Afterwards.
saw
Was that
after the match
televised?
that Lance Archer just like was like, I respect you, and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like I love working with you. And the cool part that he said was like, you want to come to AEW, you can come to
Oh
AEW, but
man,
I'll tell you this, I'm getting another shot at that belt.
it was
So
wonderful,
they set up
and
angles everywhere on this show, dude,
it
which
was
I
like
loved.
Easter. It was Easter Egg City, and who knows if they'll even acknowledge half of them? But if they do, that would be outstanding. And
This
yeah, there was a lot of
it
seeds planted.
reminded me of more like a New Year's Dash show from a long time ago, or more like a Dominion or something. Like there was
Definitely
all
wasn't.
sorts of surprises and
It
crazy movements
it
in the
it
company.
definitely wasn't a house show. Um, and Lance Archer is another guy that just came off like a star too.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know if you guys got the tramp stamp they were chanting at
Oh
him, which was pretty
boy.
hilarious,
Well,
and
he's
him
got a
acknowledging and
Christian tattoo all over him, right? Like crosses.
it looks
He's got
I don't know
crosses.
'cause-
He's got a
oh,
Jesus tramp stamp, dude.
but there was people chanting tramp stamp and he was flipping them off and saying shut up. It was great. He plays with the crowd really well, and he's an impressive guy live too. The guy does a goddamn backflip off the ropes.
Yeah.
Um,
Look, he's fucking crazy, man. No,
and he's another
he's
guy
awesome,
that's
and
in his early 40s too. And yeah, it was that was a great match and a perfect way to close the night with some Tanahashi on air guitar, sending the crowd home
yeah,
happy.
dude. Now that's when the fireworks should have gone off.
Oh
What
my,
the
maybe
fuck?
that's when they were supposed
Yeah,
to. That
maybe
would have been
you think they
perfection.
mistimed him?
But I couldn't think of a better ending. And, I thought there was a way maybe they would keep that belt there. But then I'm like, you got to have Tanahashi win that belt. And, kind of, that's why I was really glad a couple years ago. Was it when he beat Kenny? Was it WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom
Wrestle
13 or
Kingdom,
12 or 13 when he beat
13
Kenny?
maybe 13.
Um, I was really happy for that moment because I feel like there was a lot of people, including myself, that really didn't see Tanahashi in his heyday. And as at that time, like it was almost at its
Mm.
peak. If it wasn't at its peak, it was very close to the peak of the popularity of New Japan with the domestic, with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah, yeah,
domestic, but
yeah.
the
Yeah.
American foreign audience. And
Oh.
it at that point. And I think it was really cool to give Tanahashi that type of moment,
Uh,
because he's a
Well,
guy that kept the company alive.
he's been
You know,
doing that for
no,
since
he
he
has,
started to.
but that's what I'm saying is that he has been doing that. He's basically, that company just rode
Yeah.
him probably for a decade, but he got
Yeah.
that moment as it was gaining that popularity in the United States and worldwide that it didn't have before. So, you could say that, it's like Don Mattingly who played for the Yankees. They won a World Series the year before he was a rookie, and they won a World Series the year after he retired, and he never won a World Series,
Wow.
right? So Tanahashi could have had that feeling
That
where he was this
sucks.
amazing star, and then by the time it gets real popular with the United States crowd and whatnot, that he's kind of on the downside of his career, and
Mm.
doesn't. But so I'm really glad he got that moment. But then he just keeps going,
Yeah, he
and
does.
and it's amazing, and it's you can see sometimes he's limping around and doesn't look his best in the ring, but he just reminds me, I know I hate to use another baseball analogy, but of a great pitcher that maybe doesn't have his best stuff that day, but still gets just 7 good innings and only gives up a couple of
Mm.
runs. Like he
Yeah.
still guts it out. Um, and that's what just Tanahashi does. Even though when he's not in the best shape, he still guts it out and gets a great performance out.
He,
And
he
that's
definitely
exactly what it
he
was.
definitely gets it done. He pushes his body to lengths that I can only imagine only some of the best athletes do, and it is incredible. And he was incredible on
Yeah.
Saturday night. Now, if we go back one day to Friday night, did you watch AEW?
I did. I watched
Cool.
Rampage, and I thought it was great.
I
That
thought
opening match, Christian and Kenny Omega, how good was that?
I thought it was fucking awesome. I'm a
Yeah,
big fan of Christian, man. I'm kind of like one of those Tony Khan guys that's like I think Christian's great, but I'm one of the dudes that like always likes the stuff that's not popular. So it's like I'm like, yeah, Christian's better than Edge all the way. So I mean, I've always been that way since I knew him as a kid, even in the Brood. So I was excited, man, when I saw fucking Christian beat him, and he won a title against him, and now Kenny Omega is the first time he's lost in fucking how long? It was awesome.
yeah. And I had to tell my uncle because I watched it, and I watched the early feed, and he has on cable like, hey man, you got to watch Rampage tonight because he loves Christian and Edge. Those are two of his
Nice.
favorites. And I said, great opening match on Rampage tonight, Christian and Kenny Omega. And he responded, my boy Christian. I'm like, yeah, you got to watch it.
Nice.
And I saw him this morning. He came to watch, the boys play hockey, and he was
Yeah.
like, man, that was a great match. The whole show was great. So,
Damn, he watched the
um,
whole show, huh?
yeah. He's starting to watch AEW more now. So,
That's
but he,
because,
you know,
like,
he,
the shit's actually good. Like you said, you recommended to someone, they're like, oh, damn, that was actually pretty badass.
yeah, it seems like we've said before that they started from scratch, and now the babies are starting to walk,
Yeah.
with the storylines, and they're toddlers, they're in preschool now, and they're starting to see the fruits of their labor because they didn't just come in with like an adopted 8-year-old or 12-year-old kid. They started with a little baby, and they were going to take care of it and raise it, and
Yeah.
now they're kind of starting to see the fruits of their labor.
Oh, yeah.
um, and that's when it's a good time to have some friends that don't that are trying to get back in wrestling. Like this is a good time to jump in AEW because a lot of their stuff is starting to flourish. You
Oh,
got a
yeah,
guy like
yeah. It's just kind of, yeah, I would agree with that, man. Some of these feuds going on. They are going for a little while. They're getting bigger, and they're kind of stewing right now, and in a
it's
little
been like
while.
a crock pot. You put
Yeah.
that pot roast in there for 12 hours, and it's falls apart, and it's great and tender, and that's like what they did with Kenny Omega's build.
Yeah, and
When you thought right
imagine
away,
when Omega finally does go against Cowboy.
right, and
That's
or just
gonna be
name other people on that roster they can square up against him at some point too. And
true.
instead of just sticking Kenny in the microwave and having him, because a lot of people are like, okay, look, you're having this show on TNT, you got to get your, Kenny Omega's the biggest kind of talent you have, put him out of the shotgun and throw him out there right away. And good on them for doing what seems to be the right thing. Was okay, we're gonna put Kenny on the back burner for a year, and we're gonna slowly build it up, and look how it's paid off.
Dude, I'm gonna say this, man. Yeah, the epic Okada run, the legendary one. You had Okada versus a lot of different people from all of New Japan and out of New Japan, like Marufuji from Noah. And in that run, man, like you knew Okada was gonna win quite a few of these matches, but you were excited to see it because you know it was gonna be fucking great. Even the Evil match wasn't that bad. The Shibata match, everyone knew back then that Okada would beat Shibata.
Yeah,
There was no question about it. But the match ended up fucking being a
one of the best
legendary
matches I've
that
ever seen.
that destroyed one person, and
Yeah,
cemented Okada's legacy. So I'm okay knowing who's gonna win, which it's Kenny. I'm sure Kenny will win this big match, but if they can put on this epic match, man, and Kenny will look back in history and be like, oh, this was the most epic run ever. Kenny beat Christian, and Kenny beat this guy.
Well, Kenny lost to Christian. But no, here's the thing.
No, well, I'm talking about with the AEW championship. I'm not talking about Impact.
Oh, right. But the AEW thing that was actually, kind of the play off of that too, is they knew they couldn't come in and go with that approach of Kenny, the best bout machine, has all these great matches. They needed to build up more of character and storyline, because I think that's what's more consumable by American fans anyway. You got to
I agree.
You know?
I agree. They do. You're right, because
they couldn't just come in and say this guy has 60-minute matches, and they're like, I'm not watching those 60-minute match.
You are right. They do have to build up with using storyline, but I think they've done a good. I think what they've realized is there's simple ways to make angles and storylines. It's really not complex. It's like this guy runs out to beat up this guy. It's wrestling. Yeah. It's fucking. You know how it is. Like it's simple. You don't have to make a crazy story. It's just like, I don't like you, I beat you up. Fucking now I take your title. Like so.
And Miro, the way they've built Miro back up after, like, what are they doing with him at first?
Oh yeah. I kind of waited for Lana on that though. What do you think? Because I would bring her in, right? Like they're even better together.
Their dynamic was great with the whole, coming out with the tank to WrestleMania and her promos in the Russian accent. I don't know. You don't want to say no to having someone like Lana on screen on a regular basis. There's a lot of positives to that for sure.
I mean, dude.
Right now with the whole Miro thing, like I wouldn't do.
You think we're still in that building phase?
And I think there's a little bit of an ain't broke, don't fix it right now. Element to it. But eventually, I think.
So
it's something they can consider.
Did you see how he choked out Fuego del Sol?
Yeah,
it was cool because he gave him the accolade, then laid back and like his like leg tucked under him and stuff.
Oh, that's bad. I think he did that to some other guys when he was doing that huge run in WWE at the beginning where he was undefeated, won the U.S. title.
It's like the super accolade or game over. It's the game over. Sorry. Right. Well. I mean, this match is what it was, man, but they gave Fuego del Sol a contract. I don't really know Fuego del Sol, so honestly, I don't really care.
I heard that was
I was a fan for the entire time that fucking COVID was happening. Like, when did he wrestle? Is he a dark guy?
Probably.
I
think
guy?
I've only watched 2 or 3 episodes of Dark, and I think it's awesome they have
the first episode of Dark, and that's about it.
Yeah, and it's I think I watched one of them. Like, how many matches are on this thing? It was like 12 hours or something. And I think it's great they have it, and they should continue to have it.
It's good training, right?
They're giving a lot of people a lot of chances to. It's basically
all the wrestlers get to just
tryout show.
Well. But even then, no, like even the top guys just go on it and just wrestle.
They mix some angles in there, and it's great. And more content, the better. I don't have to watch all of it,
I think it's just a thing to keep wrestlers wrestling, but that's okay because it's also entertaining to some.
But that's why one of the reasons why I respect Tony Khan and what they're doing is, he paid a lot of guys during the pandemic when a lot of companies weren't, and he brought some guys in. To wrestle on Dark and gave everyone a chance to
and
on the
as
indie
he continues
scene
he's signing probably more people than any other company. Like if you looked at the graph, and I don't know Brandon Sanderson or whoever says this, but I don't know about but I feel like AEW has hired a lot of people where WWE has not hired a lot of people.
That's a whole other segment we can have with what WWE's been doing lately, but I think they've let go of 100 wrestlers since the pandemic started. Overall.
It's a crazy situation, man. So what did you?
AEW hasn't just been signing everyone under the sun. They've been pretty selective with who they're bringing in.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I just hope they don't fucking bring in the Fiend. I don't need to see it. I don't want to see it. Like, let him wrestle in PWG, bro. But I know keep him off AEW. I don't know.
I don't think you necessarily have to have the Fiend. but I would love Bray
No,
Wyatt's
no, that
mind.
not the Bray Wyatt, not Bray Wyatt.
No. Well,
Or
whatever he goes
Wyndham
by.
Rotunda.
Is there a better name than that? I mean, come on.
Wyndham Rotunda.
That's
Is he going to
fantastic.
start all over as Husky Harris?
Named-
Fucking...
No, I think he could have a lot to contribute.
Well, let him show that
yeah.
in the minor leagues first.
Oh, where?
I think we'll fucking let him go to Philadelphia, wrestle in the Indies.
Stop.
Texas.
No, I think he would be. I think right now I wouldn't bring. I would maybe say, hey man, we're gonna bring you in about 6-8 months when we get some things out of the way, when we need a new angle. Because to me, I'm holding CM Punk until
There you
the
go.
Jericho MJF thing is done. I want to see. I know we've talked about whether you love or hate CM Punk, but I couldn't think of a better way to bring CM Punk in than have him with a mic in his hand against MJF.
That would be pretty damn cool, but I think he's going to go against Darby Allin first, right?
I don't know. We'll see. MJF's been dropping a little Easter eggs with the CM Punk stuff too, but
Well, we'll find out on Dynamite, right? Because if they
Maybe.
finish the Chris Jericho storyline, the labors of Jericho, then we'll see what happens. So,
well, here's the thing too. I mean, could you imagine, the way that they could do the MJF and CM Punk thing is they wouldn't have to touch each other for 6-8 months. They could play it out with those two guys just promoing each other for 6-8 months without touching each other, and then you can have a big event next summer with them.
it's possible for a year though. No, you're going to have to get some physicality.
They with their microphones.
I just don't see it because
MJF has a posse too. That he's got his group.
But here's the thing,
What are they
CM
called
Punk.
again?
CM Punk does not have a pinnacle. CM Punk is a
Pinnacle, right.
loner right now, bro.
Right,
So he's got to
right.
get his own crew first before he starts talking shit on the mic. Otherwise, he'll get beat up by all 6 of them.
Well, we'll see. But I mean, I think there's just a money with those two guys with mics in their hand going back and forth at each other. That would be gold.
I think it will be as well. I think it'll be fucking great eventually when we do see that. And with Bryan in the whole mix, it just adds a whole new dimension, especially with New Japan talent. I see Kenta versus Bryan rematches from years ago that fans will go crazy for, plus all the top talent in both companies. Plus Bryan versus Punk. Why is no one talking about this? Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk had great matches in WWE. Have you seen them?
No.
Champion
I gotta
versus
go back and
champion
look.
matches that were extremely entertaining.
Yeah.
So
I
why
gotta-
don't we
I
just
know.
bring in Punk and then just have him immediately face Bryan? Do you think that'd be a cool idea? Obviously, it's not going to happen, but what's your idea on that?
I don't know. I think I need a little bit more of a kind of build to that, or a reason for it to happen right away.
Just instead of like, we both just signed here, so let's beat each other up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Like, I'm not quite the WWE fan that needs a big storyline, so to say. But at the same time, I don't think you could New Japan book it where these two are going to have a 60-minute, match where the times are announced every 10 minutes. I don't think I would need a little bit more of a build for that because they both come in as huge baby faces. I think if you were going to do something like that, one of them would have to be clearly a heel or have some kind of past.
You never know what'll happen, man.
Yeah.
I could see
Well,
Punk coming
if
in
they-
as a heel. It's
what
a
if you see
possibility.
What if they throw Punk coming as a heel going after Colt Cabana?
I don't think they're going to do some shit like that, bro. And actually, now that I think about it, why would you ever want CM Punk to be a heel right now? He's like the most popular
he won't
fucking... Yeah.
It's
so.
like Jay White trying to be a heel,
In
I mean,
America.
there are some Punk detractors, but the ones that go to the wrestling shows, they're
Who
cheering
is
for
it, your
Punk.
uncle?
My uncle doesn't hate. He says CM Punk's the worst champion ever, and this is a guy who loves heels, but he always just thought, with the whole CM Punk,
He
he's a
thought he was
crybaby.
trash, huh?
He's a crybaby, always complaining about not being recognized. Like, he doesn't like that shit. So
I get it.
Although he loves the Miz, though.
Oh, but The Miz sucks.
He loves Miz is very entertaining, but he loves the Miz.
Maybe back in the day when he was with fucking Damian Sandow, but I don't know.
Good.
Dude, did you see that Cody's in a new show with his wife?
It's funny that you mentioned
The
that because-
Roads, or is it what called like Up
Um,
into the roads.
I ran into the I don't know if you heard this story with I drew the picture for and got the bubbly, right? I told you that, right? I ran into the guy who's that's his company,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking to me about how they're making a wine for brandy next, a
What?
rosé. Yeah, it's coming out like
Wow.
kind of in sequence to the show, and he's like, and I'm like, Cody, I love the stuff he does outside, like in terms of like, I think he's probably got a good mind for wrestling because I think he does a lot of creative stuff in the storylines that are going on. And I just said, but his character, man, I just feel like being like this, he's being a heel right now, and we just don't. He's playing like some kind of game where he's
Mm.
pretending to do all these goody things, like hand his weight belt to a kid, and like I don't know, some of the stuff
Yeah.
like one podcast I listened to that we watch wrestling, they mentioned that the main way he comes out there and says like, with the whole my baby's gonna be African American and white, it's like the way he made it kind of sound was like his interracial marriage has cured all racism in America or something like that.
Well, he's supposed to be like this super happy, right, babyface character. So he's appealing to everyone, right? He's doing the diversity thing, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I just feel some of the stuff is so like 80s mid South babyface stuff that.
He probably agrees and is okay with that. But
That's what I'm saying. I think that he's
I,
doing it in a way where the old he's playing chess and we're playing checkers kind of thing, and one day it's just gonna come
so
to a head.
are you gonna watch Roads to the Top episode by episode?
No, I'm not gonna. No, no.
I don't think
Just
I'll
I
dig
mean,
in
no.
either because it's probably
Just not my
just
type of
another
program.
reality show.
Yeah, it's just I'm just not into that kind of stuff.
I already
Total
saw Total
Divas. I don't
Divas,
watch that.
so I'm good with
Yeah.
it. I've
I mean, I
seen
watched a few
Total
episodes of
Bellas.
that. It's okay. It's just not, you
It's
know.
just as fake as the fucking wrestling,
Of
dude.
course it is.
This
Of
shit
course,
is
yeah.
them like, let's fly to Cancun together and like, what the fuck? So that's not a normal thing. Like, all these girls don't just go to Cancun together and on the regular, like, just for fun. Like, they paid for it and then videotaped it. So
Yeah. Well, whatever. I mean, it's as fake as anything.
I
But
agree, man. So
I mean, yeah, it's just not my type of programming.
we got moving back to New Japan and thinking about the future. They're doing some touring. You said you had some feelings on like the touring schedule, right, and moving
Right.
forward. So go ahead.
So, I love seeing that people are gonna get to see all these New Japan stars in the United States. I they only I think it's great, and I would love to go see another one if there's one in Riverside, which is a couple hours from here.
Near
Might not
San
go as
Diego,
far
right?
way east inland. Maybe
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, it's further a little southeast. Couple 2.5 hours or so, 2 hours. San Jose, I probably won't go up there, but that's great. I'm not going anywhere to Texas to see what they're doing over there. But I at the same time, maybe this is like, the product that I love seeing, and a lot of it was seeing the matches and seeing everything in Japan. So I feel like something that I have to share it like with everyone now, and it feels like it's not my thing anymore in a way, like very selfish of me. But then I also feel like it's being watered down a little bit, and I feel like a lot of the things that are going on here should be going on domestically in Japan, because I think they really need that end of the world right now in their storylines. Everything could use an injection of what's going on in the United States.
Well, obviously though they only have the clap crowds there right now,
Yeah.
and with the vaccine situation in Japan, which is improving, there's some issues with that as well. So maybe they just figured, hey, like in America, there's like cheering fans and vaccinations, and so they just did the big angles there.
The New Japan actually announced that their entire roster is now 100% vaccinated
Oh, okay. Well, that's really cool.
in
Shit.
the last week, but I think that in Japan they've been giving vaccinations to corporations so they can give
Mm,
them to their employees. That's been their kind of you know you know approach to getting more people vaccinated there. I don't know how what their percentage of people vaccinated is. I think the last time I checked, it was around 25-30%.
mm.
Um, which is pretty good for where they were,
Improving.
3-4 months ago. In terms of that, our country's a whole other ball game. But yeah, at least everyone they're sending
Oops.
over here, it appears, Tanahashi, Ishii, if I'm listening to they're vaccinated and safe. But and I'm not even talking about the clap crowd version, but I see what's going on in New Japan, and obviously there's still some good stuff going on over there. But and I hope Kota Ibushi is getting better because that was a pretty serious
Yeah,
thing
and I
he
don't
came
know what's
down
going
with.
on, and there has been no news, which is not good news. So that's
Yeah.
not cool.
Um. So I hope he's doing all right. Yeah, I have a feeling that we're gonna see Kevin Kelly in Japan for the G1, but there's a lot of stuff going on here concurrently. So it's almost like I just really hope the
I don't
focus
know
is
if he's
still
going
on.
to Japan for the G1. That's
Well,
very
I don't know.
questionable.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I just really hope that there is still. I really hope the G1 has as much
Let's hope
top
they
flight
are
talent
able to
as
put on a
possible.
big tournament because it's just the. But man, I'm not hearing a lot of buzz about it, so we'll see what
And that's
happens,
my
dude.
my other negative to all this is a lot of it seems to be going on to when the G1 is going on, and I really hope the G1 still gets the rub it deserves and the spotlight in that company that
True. But,
it's
I'll say this, man. New Japan usually treats the G1 with a lot of respect, and they do a lot of cool stuff there. I don't think I've ever seen a bad one since I've been watching since, God, 2015. So,
here's what I would do, and this just came to the top of my head. Tell me what you think about this. We got a 40 wrestler G1 this year, okay? And this is all an
mm-hmm.
assumption that they're going to do a 2-night Wrestle Kingdom. 40 wrestlers. You have a G1. You have 2 brackets, or you have 4 brackets. Okay, A, B, C, and D.
Okay.
A and B are in Japan. C and D are in the United States. Okay,
Yeah.
you have 2 concurrent G1s going on at the same time, and then
I'm just going to say 40 is too much. Can we go 20 and put 10 in Japan and 10 in
you could
America?
do that too. You could do that
40
too.
is, we don't want 40. This is not like, I feel like when you go
You
to the biggest G1 ever, you start putting a lot of bad athletes in the
I think
mix.
we can do an episode where we just make up that 40-man G1, and I bet you with the 40 guys we come up with, we'll be like, I am happy with this. I think this can go 40 deep with the wrestlers between Impact, New Japan, and AEW. I think you can put together a 40-man G1 that you're like, okay, there's not a lot of you got to put a couple pin eaters in there, but I think you could put together a super sexy tournament that way. And then night one, so you have the G1 in the United States and Japan, where you'd have the 2 finalists from their 2 blocks would have a final, and then night one of the
No, and then
G1,
you'd do their other
night
show
one,
in America and have their final, and then they would, when would the ultimate final be, bro?
night one of Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh, okay, so we're going to have another double gold dash type of deal. Where you
Yeah,
have the
so
tournament
in a
to get,
way,
and then of course whoever has the belt has to challenge the first night too. So he's gonna have to go against someone on night one, and the tournament on night one, and then the 2 winners will go against each other night 2. There's our armchair booking, right?
yeah. So I think you could really put together a 40-man, a 20-man G1 with AEW guys. So you can put Kenny in it. You could put, you know, freaking Jungle Boy could be
Well,
one of the pin
I
eaters.
don't think most Americans want to work in the G1.
Jay
It only
White,
takes a
Will
bunch of crazy
Osprey,
people. So
but you know what? Jay White, Will Osprey, Like those are guys right away. Put
So
them in that American
it,
G1
it
bracket.
is a good idea, and I would love
David Finley, Tama
I
Tonga.
would
We can
love
keep going.
for them to surprise Osprey with it to freak him out, like, and you're gonna be in the G1 in America, and he's like, oh fuck you, I don't want to be in the fucking G1.
How would they pull off that authority figure kind of
Oh
action?
yeah, that's kind of true, huh? They could just show it
That's
on
not New
TV.
Chance.
They could just show the schedule on TV.
Yeah, but I could see just like I don't know how you would televise it all out here, but maybe you put it on World and it would be like a New Japan Strong kind of
Well, we'll
thing.
see if they throw it onto their little schedule going on here, because that's what's going on, man. They already announced their schedule. Then they're doing
But it's
that
one of those things.
San Jose show in November. So
I just feel you know you have the stuff kind of feeling separate is what kind of makes me feel like it's watered down. But if you can find a way to tie it all back to Japan, because I think the ultimate goal
oh, I'm
of
sure they will.
anyone, I think that like they say, like if you're not trying to be the world champion, then what's the point? I think everyone's goal that's involved in some type of New Japan should be like, I want to make it to the Tokyo Dome.
And I think that is the thing, man. I've heard them say that.
Yeah.
I've heard Chris Dickinson say that. I've heard a lot of these
Yeah, well,
guys
I
say
know,
that.
but I mean, that is the guys, but the way that this whole thing is being planned and all that doesn't. I don't like hearing someone like Will Ospreay say, "I don't want to go back to Japan," or, I'm here to represent New. Like, I think everyone it should all still go through Japan.
I just think all this is going to change when restrictions change, man. Because right
Yeah, that's
now,
true, too.
America is the better place to put on live shows. I mean,
You're not wrong. That's
and so
true.
they're
And then,
going to put those twists and the swerves here, and it's
I
just
think
how
also
it is.
they're building towards. I think they're going to try and do a big AEW / New Japan / Impact. Maybe even Ring of Honor at some point. Super duper show.
Now
in the
that would be
US.
sick, bro. They could like put that in an arena for sure.
Yeah, I think that's something they're working towards middle of next year, if not a little sooner.
Did you hear
think
that somewhere else?
No, I'm just like from the way that they're doing all these little Easter eggs everywhere, and the Impact guys showing up on. I feel like they're gonna combine for some kind of big show.
If there is something like this, though, I think it'll be under the AEW banner because it's the biggest company.
I think, and they have the biggest bankroll. I mean, when you really, really want to think about it, they got deeper pockets than.
But
WWE
I can see
does.
them putting on a super show, man. For sure. Like at this point, when you have Daniel Bryan and CM Punk and the New Japan and all that, they've already sold out Madison Square Garden back in the day. So I'm sure they could sell it something much bigger. I mean, CM Punk himself is selling out a huge arena in Chicago, and
Are we sure? CM Punk?
yes, come on, dude.
Is he gonna wrestle on it? I mean,
I don't know what he's gonna do, but he's gonna come out and talk to people for sure, and that's what they want to see.
Chicago would sell out even if it wasn't CM Punk.
Well, but it will be. And they asked
I
Tony
think-
Khan in an interview, "Hey, is CM Punk going to be there?" And he said, "I don't know, but that's a great question to answer, or that's a great question to ask."
Right, but I think they're looking towards. We're talking
They're not
middle of
gonna
next year.
fuck their whole crew.
I would say next spring they're looking to be like at a baseball stadium kind of.
That'd be
size.
cool.
Yeah.
That'd be fucked up if
25,000.
CM Punk came out, took the mic on Friday, and it was like, "I'll see you guys on Dynamite," and just went back.
Or I'll see you on Dark.
I'd be like, "What the fuck?" There's like, we sold 24,000 or whatever, 14,000 for this.
I'll
Jesus.
see you at
Dark
the impact,
elevation.
the impact zone.
Oh my god. I'll see you at the impact zone. Yeah, I don't know about all that, bro. But I do know that there's a lot of shit going on in wrestling. You got to go live to it. It's so exciting. And there's so many changes in New Japan. It's almost so much to talk about. It makes me tired, which I kind of am. So we're going to sign off to this one tonight, dude.
Yeah,
So,
we got it.
say goodbye to all your loyal fans. In-ring art, Justin.
Okay. Good night.
There
I'm going to Vegas next weekend
Oh, shit.
to peddle some of my crap.
Yeah, buddy.
So that is something that
That's badass.
kind of still just don't know what to expect, and
So announce where you're going, though, for sure.
So I'm part of this joint venture. I know I should mention it more. I do try and post about it. I'm at in ring art, and if you want to get my personal life, you can go to BeanFrank81 on Instagram and Twitter. I don't care. But I'm gonna be part of this pre-show little pop-up at the Palace Station Casino in Las Vegas on
SummerSlam
Saturday.
weekend.
Yeah, Saturday, August 21st from 10 to 2.
Sweet.
At the Palace Station Casino, Wrestling for Sale. Ted is putting on a huge little pop-up with all of his amazing stuff. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, we're talking about, other artists are going to be there, like, who else are we going to have? Extra Cooler is going to have some stuff there.
Extra Cooler.
Savage Stash.
Oh, don't forget him, Savage Stash.
Yeah, he's got some cool stuff. And
there'll be all
Violent
sorts
Miracle.
of... Violent Miracle. It was a miracle, but it was violent.
And then it's going to be... You're going to have the Cheap Heat crew from that podcast, Peter Rosenberg and Fat Guy Greg.
Nice. Okay.
A little, meet the fans kind of deal. And it's going to be super fun. And I'm going to be masked up and scared.
And selling some stuff, right?
We'll see. Maybe. Hopefully.
At least getting some contacts.
I just, I'm hoping the hotel gets paid for and the gas money. I'm just.
Oh God, I hope it's not too shady in that way.
Like any successful trip to Vegas, I'm not a big Vegas guy myself, but if I could just break even, I'll be a happy man.
I feel you, bro. Well, I hope for you too, and be sure to have fun there and take some pictures. Send me, man. I'm excited for that. That sounds fun as fuck.
Yeah.
And plus, it's SummerSlam too, which is really cool. You going to the show? Did you pay for the $40,000?
No.
Or excuse me, that's the population of the people that'll be there. That's not the price.
No. Yeah, that's one of those things where I was telling my wife, at 2:00 ends, I'm getting the hell out of Vegas and driving home because I got to get my kids.
There you go.
Hockey the next day.
Oh, but shit. Okay.
If a SummerSlam ticket gets offered to me or whatever, then that's a whole other kind of conversation to have. And,
yeah.
That probably puts me home at 1:00 in the morning or something like that, and
But you're not staying the night in Vegas, that's for sure.
Yeah, not staying that night in Vegas. I am going up on Friday and staying the night then.
Okay, cool.
Because I'm not going to go 4-hour drive and get there at 6 in the morning, and then I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
I got a hotel room for Friday night, so it's going to be get there on Friday, check into my hotel, get some dinner, hang out in the hotel room, wake up early, set up my stuff, and get out of Dodge.
Well, we're excited to hear how it sounds, man, and what went on, if it's cool or if it's not. But definitely we want to hear that next time on Wrestling, and where we are going to talk about wrestling. And well, we'll tell you when the episode comes out. We can't spoil it. You know what I'm saying? So
no, that we don't really know.
Yeah, fuck that. Oh, we know. No, I'm just kidding. All right, you guys have a great one. We'll talk to you guys later. Yeah, I remember back in the day they had a 2 out of 3 falls match. It was Cesaro, right? And who else was it? This was NXT. Who was it? Oh yeah, it was Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville. Finn Balor, who was on a different level, and the rest, Becky Lynch and eventually Owens. I feel like if you watched it back then, you fucking know inside your heart that it was good stuff. A lot of wrestling that personally I could love. A lot of shows down in Florida I would come. A lot of takeover shows that were good fun. Fucking man, and the tag team matches were totally unrivaled. AOP, DIY, and the Revival. Bobby Roode, even him you could be sure of, along with Alistair and Mr. Nakamura, and a rivalry so epic you could only give thanks every time you watch Bayley and Sasha Banks. And when Cien Almas rose through the ranks, intense were the matches and high were the stakes. Say it again, where have you been? NXT, what the fuck's happening?
Cause lately, shit's getting shady. Where was the show from back then, baby? With the releases and the changes happening, who knows when John Ensman's back again to watch this show? Where did it go? NXT, I miss you, bro.